Yes. Hello, everyone. Myself, Rohini Mergu, delivering a webinar on flipped classroom strategy to improve students' learning of computer communication network and experience report. It's an experience report. And I have conducted this experience, I have prepared this experience report along with my two colleagues, Shweta Bagdi and Vaidehi Kulkarni. We three are from Walchand Institute of Technology, Solapur, Maharashtra. In the introduction, first my question is why active learning? Now, when the question comes why active learning, there is another question whether students are passive learners. Yes, of course, the students are passive learners with the traditional type of teaching. Why I can say they are passive learners? Because they're not actively involved in doing any of the activity while learning. In traditional teaching, the teacher keeps on teaching, the student learns what the teacher is teaching, or should I use the word some of the students are pretending as if they are learning. They may not be attentive all the time because they are not actively involved. So that there is to have the 100% perception from the student point of view, there is a need of active learning. So what are the active learning strategies? So different numerous active learning strategies are there. Out of that few I have listed out here. So first is the very famous active learning strategy is TPS, think, pair and share, in which the students have to think on a particular topic, pair it and share it in the class, faculty can conduct the concept tests, can conduct the quizzes in the class, can have a debate on a particular topic, can have a puzzles, like the faculty has to design a puzzle for a particular topic, can conduct a class game. That is, that will be much more interactive and will be very effective for the students if the faculty designs a game for any of the topic. Can conduct a role play. Yes, in our college we have conducted a role play for for understanding the students for the modulation techniques like analog modulation, frequency modulation. Few of our faculties have conducted it, and it is really very effective. Then personal response systems, clickers. Clickers is the Kaun Banega Karodpati thing, in which the question is asked and the people are answering using the some device in their hands. So that is the clicker. So that will also be very effective. And lastly, I have listed not last but not the last only. It's where in the more of the strategies are there. But here I've listed flipped classroom, which I'm going to discuss today. Flipped classroom. What is a flipped classroom? In the flipped classroom, videos are given to the students, and students learn from these videos outside the classroom. And students have to come prepared to the class only for discussions and activities in the class. So whatever they have learned on the videos, based on that, they will perform the discussion and activities in the class. Flipped classroom, which I have conducted, that is for final year students for a computer communication network subject. What is my objective in this? In doing this, my objective is the student should clear the concepts of error detection and error correction protocols. Their idea of error detection and error correction protocols should be clarified. Second objective is the student should be able to apply the knowledge for detecting the errors and correcting the errors in the transmitted bit stream. So flipped classroom, again, I need to explain it here a much more clear way. See, can you see this? I have flipped the word itself, flipped classroom, which itself indicates what is meant by flipping. Flipping means roundabout. What is the roundabout? You can see the picture here. We have shown the roundabout things. So what the roundabout is, there are two types of teachings I have compared here. Traditional teaching and flipped classroom. In traditional teaching, what happens? The students go to the school or a college. The teacher teaches to the students. Students gain what from the teacher, whatever the teacher delivers in the classroom. And student gives some homework activities to the student. Student goes home. When the student go home, then when he or she is trying to do the homework activity, the student having a lot of doubt in their minds what they have learned during the class, because they may not be attentive for the complete lecture, or they may not have understood some concepts which are not clarified. So that may be the reasons that student is not able to understand how to solve some homework activities. And in the flipped classroom, what we do is at the start itself. Videos are given to the student. Student will be listening those videos. Lectures. So that based on this prior knowledge test, the students will then again join to the two different groups, traditional teaching and flipped classroom. The one group which I formed as traditional teaching, that is I can name as a control group. And the group which undergoes flipped classroom, that group I can name as an experimental group. Now, in the traditional teaching part of a thing, the students when I divided in traditional and flipped classroom group, I have divided with the equal mental ability students. Like when I have conducted a test, I have when I have conducted test, I have divided the students in such a way that the students of 10% mark will go one to the traditional teaching, another to the flipped classroom. So student getting 16% mark, 60% marks, one go to the traditional, other go to the flipped classroom. So likewise, the division is done. So the two groups formed are of equal mental ability groups. And then a post test is conducted for the control group as well as for the experimental group. Now, the test which been carried out for these two groups is the same questions are given for both the groups. So, what is my experiment detail is prior knowledge test is conducted. Based on that, two groups are formed. One is traditional underwent the traditional teaching, other underwent the flipped classroom, and then we have conducted a post test. Now, what are the sample questions for the post test that I am showing out here? The sample questions are, what are the different error detection protocols? So just naming the different error detection protocols, which is at recall level. Students have to recall and write the answer. Next question is compare between go back N and selective retransmission protocol. This is at understand level. This question is at understand level. And third is for the transmitted bit pattern, some pattern is given. Detect the errors and correct it by using Hamming code. That means by using one of the method, the student need to detect the code, detect the errors in the code and correct it, which is at apply level. So the questions are at the different levels of Bloom's taxonomy. From that, when I see the post-test results, I found that the post-test results, which are of experimental group, are higher. We can see the peaks for the experimental group. Whereas for control group, the results are a bit less compared to the control group. So compared to the experimental group. So experimental group has performed better than the control group. Now, I wondered how this has been possible? How it has been happened? So I went through some papers and I had the observations as the questions at recall level are attempted well by both the groups, that is the control group as well as experimental group. Here I'll repeat again, control group is the group which underwent traditional teaching. Experimental group is the one which underwent the flipped classroom. So both can attempt the question which are at recall level. But the experimental group performed well than the control group for the questions which are at understand and apply level. So when I go to the higher level of the Bloom's taxonomy, I found that experimental group is performed well for the higher level of the Bloom's taxonomy. Now, whether only saying that is enough? No, I need to show some statistical analysis for that. So the t-test is been carried out and t-test results are shown out here. T-test shows the statistical significant difference between the control group and experimental group. T-test is used to determine if the two sets of the data are significantly different from each other or not. If so, T must be at least 2.145 and P should be less than 0.05. Here you can see that the T value is more than 2.145, whereas P value is less than 0.05. So here I can see that my experimental group and control group results are varying significantly. So, okay, I'm doing all this, whether it is at the cost of students. That means whether students are not interested and I'm forcefully doing, performing some activity or what. So for that, the feedback is conducted with this questions like this. The question is, to what extent you understand the technical contents from the video lectures? That is asked to the students. And most of the students say that they understand the technical contents of the video given to them. Then does this teaching method made you more attentive? Yes, students agree that it's made them more attentive because they are actively involved in the activity. Whether the flipped classroom helped you to increase your understanding level. So students also agree that this improves their or increase their understanding level because they have seen the results. Have you enjoyed the teaching method? Yes, this is the question which I really should look for. And students really say that they enjoyed this teaching method because instead of just sitting silent in the class and listening to the teacher, students love to discuss in the class. And lastly, the question is, would you recommend similar sessions for the other topics also? So few of the students says that yes, they recommend. Most of students says that they recommend the similar sessions to the other students. But few of the students, you can see that they say that it's a fair. That means they don't want to recommend it much. Why? Because they have to work. Of course, they have to work at home and then come prepared. So that is the reason. And finally, I can come to the conclusion or conclude my webinar. The P value and t-test results show that post-test results of the experimental group are considerably better than the control group results, which indicate that my experimental group is performing better. This indicates the experimental group students reached the higher level of Bloom's taxonomy. Yes, because they have reached to the apply level, which has not been reached by the control group. And few of the control group students reached to the understand level other are not only at the recall level. And finally, from the feedback obtained by the experimental group students, it is found that students are engaged in the activity and enjoyed the flipped classroom activity, which I should look for and which is really important. Flipped classroom can be the better choice for the students' active participation in learning and hence, in turn, improves the students' learning. So, flipped classroom is improving the students' learning. So these are the references which I have used when I'm going through the paper. And a big thank you to all of you for joining this short webinar on flipped classroom. Thank you. Hello. Hello.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hello.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll just give the audience 1 or 2 minutes in case there are any questions.
Yes, sir. If any questions are there, please, you can raise your questions. From the audience side, if any questions are there, please raise your questions.
The one question is, how was the improvement in apply level of experimental group tested?
Sir, when I have conducted the test, I have checked the question paper. When I check the question paper, that detecting the errors and correcting the question, most of the students which underwent traditional teaching, they have not attempted it at all. Whereas a few of them have tried, but they have not got the result. Whereas these students who are underwent the flipped classroom, most of them, almost all of them, have attempted that questions correctly and got the correct result. So from that, I can say that they have applied that logic to the strategy which I have implemented.
Are
Hello.
the videos are self-made or from any pre-developed video?
These are pre-developed videos. I'm also developing my own videos. Actually, these are the pre-developed videos which I got from IIT Bombay during one of the workshop. Is it fine, sir?
Yes, ma'am. We'll just be online for 1 more minute, just in case any more questions are there.
Yeah.
Can you share a question related to testing of apply level?
Share a question related to apply level.
Yes.
Sir, already I have shown one of the question, which is like I have given some bit stream. And students should know from that bit stream whether there is any error in the bit stream which is transmitted, and if the error is there, and they should be able to correct that error. So that question is of course at the apply level, because they have to work out and see whether the error has happened, and then they have to correct it.
How do you ensure that the students are promptly watching video at home?
Sir, I was really bothering like whether the students will watch it at home or not. So that is why I first once I shown them during my practical session, then they got an interest in that, and then I said that again with your own pace, you see it at home, because everyone's capability is different. Everyone can see that at their own speed and at their own pace. So again they went through it, and I told them that there will be a compulsory test will be based on this video, and you have to attempt that test, and based on that some term work marks I'll give. So that students went through that seriously.
What should be the duration of the video lecture?
Duration of the
Video lecture.
video lecture. Sir, the video lecture, as I prefer, it should be 20 minutes only actually. So first I gave them two video lectures. One is of 20 minutes, another is of around or same 20 to 25 minutes only, sir.
What is the
Because
time?
students may not be attentive for more time.
What is the time gap you have given between watching video and test?
What is the time between?
Watching the video
Sorry, sir.
and test.
Huh? Sir, I have given them video, and for after 4 days I have given them. Like you go through the video and we can discuss in the class. After 4 days we had a discussion in the class, and the next day I have conducted the test. So almost 5 days, 5 to 6 days I took for complete activity.
Is the test multiple choice or descriptive type?
Sir, of course descriptive type, because when I say that it is at apply level question, the descriptive questions are there, sir.
Like to share my practice. Beside viewing the video at home, I also show the video at the earlier
Yes, sir.
class. Yes. Yes.
Oh, yes. Thank you, sir.
So, thank you very much, ma'am. That was all the questions.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And even